So yeah, some of you are working with emperors, some of you are striving to be emperors, and some of you are still just kind of at the early stages of becoming that. So age ranges could be between late teens to elder years. There's really no limit to the possibilities here, but that can also represent um, two very different generations, or it could represent a parental figure and a child relationship, especially with the Princess of Wands and the King of Wands, or the Princess of Wands and the Emperor. That could also be like a hierarchy with work, with the Prince of Pentacles, and also focusing over here on the Ace of Pentacles. So for some of you, this could be about work. This could be about climbing, quote unquote, the, you know, corporate ladder or the social ladder, or um, mastering something you do with your work, maybe striving towards a promotion, having more responsibility. Some of you, this might be about just like feeling like you have a fresh start financially, a place of your own that you can love, that can be yours, that you can be in control of, you know, be able to decide who comes and goes, even down to like how you decorate your place, like how you love your place. Um, you know, just for some people, having that stability is something they've strived for their whole lives. And and it's also about graduating out of a lack mentality, right? Now I'm starting to channel messages from spirit. In the last reading, we also talked about how wealth is more than just financial wealth. It's about knowing that um, you can succeed no matter how much money you have, because you believe that the universe is working for you, not against you. If you if you work on your thoughts, you can create a new reality, because what you represent inside is not only what you represent outside of yourself in your surroundings, but it's also what you're attracted to, what you attract in, and also how you present to others. Because oftentimes, and I talked about this in the last few readings, but it seems like Spirit wants me to emphasize this again, your projections on other people, whether your thoughts or your actual spoken words, are judgments of yourself, often verbalized outwardly at another person. And sometimes that can come across as judgmental, defensive. Um, this can actually cause people to lash out on you. And because, again, with the Queen of Wands in reverse, that can also just represent somebody who's possibly somebody in their 30s or 40s. I'm getting for that card representation, or late 20s even. Somebody who's very fiery. I could call out zodiac signs for these cards, but I think people get way too stuck in that. And we have all 12 signs in our charts. Okay, we have different representations, and I talk about this in my work. So I'm not gonna bore my regular followers going into that all over again. Let's see, where do we want to go next? I think I'm going to pull more from the Herbcrafters. Just give this a little shuffle. And the Knight of Cups seem to want to go back in the deck, apparently, so I guess I'm going to honor that, which means somebody's not ready to offer their cup of love to something. And as I split the deck, the Ace of Air, or Ace of Swords, and the Five Pentacles in reverse are in the deck. So that's the truth with the Ace of Swords. And Five of Pentacles in reverse means that you are coming out of a lack mentality, though. You're graduating to equal give and take here. That's also part of your truth that you possibly learned in this hermit mode. Okay, let me shuffle. Kind of feel like I may actually wrap this after an oracle card after doing this for a little bit more. Hermit card just tried to blow away and it flipped itself upside down. So somebody's decided to come out of hermit mode. And if you're ready, please do. I actually just came out of my own actual hermit's journey from the last few years. And even though I'm still very solo and keep to myself on the mountain, I'm showing up as a spiritual guide here in this community. So that in itself is taking myself out of hermit mode, allowing myself to be heard, sometimes seen, for the community. Also, the Hermit card, and this is when we talk about astrological energies for the benefit of all. Hermit is also represented by Virgo, and Virgo is also ruler of the 6th house, and that all represents service, being of service to others, and also being able to be of service to yourself, take care of your needs, take care of your health, because Virgo also rules health principles. It's possible part of this journey has caused you some health issues. That's for some. If you're not aware of any health issues, don't freak out. Of course, go see your doctor if you suspect something is wrong. But sometimes people can get caught up in these things and the anxieties of them. Instead of just dealing with them, they can actually cause more harm than good to themselves. And I mention that because of all the pentacles energy we have here, which is material, which is your body, right? Yeah, I just pulled the 2 of Fire or 2 of Wands. That's, first of all, that's about trying to manifest something for yourself. It's about having a choice, a fork in the road. And it's about the 5 of Pentacles in reverse. It just came out again, so it didn't want to stay in the deck. You're choosing how to go forward without a lack mentality. And I do talk about manifestation and the laws of the universe, like the law of attraction, law of universal exchange, law of equivalent exchange, and also the law of assumption. So if you want to learn more about those kinds of things, definitely subscribe and hit the like button if you don't mind. I am watching a huge wild pheasant fly through the thicket of trees on the ridge. That was really cool. It also actually might be one of the huge wild woodpeckers. They're like red and orange. I can't remember the exact name, but that could be a sign or synchronicity. If it is the woodpecker and not the pheasant, I'm not sure. It's kind of in the shade. Woodpeckers actually represent gossip or news traveling from one person to the next. You could be waiting to hear on something in order to make a choice, or other people are talking about your choices. And then the 4 of Cups in reverse. Okay, so we just transmuted the 4 of Cups energy by getting it twice in a different deck, and it's upside down now. I think you're starting to figure out what's truly important to you. And there's the Knight of Cups again. You're ready to offer your cup again. Wow. Some of you tend to go back and forth a lot with your decision making. Yeah, and I love it when this happens. 2 of Pentacles or 2 of Earth in reverse just came out. That means putting an end to juggling. I think we were talking about that in the last couple of reads about juggling. So yeah, I think by being able to stop juggling so many things, you're able to give your cup to something, come out of this lack mentality, make a choice, manifest your desires, and that starts with gratitude and appreciating what you have. Remember, we had the gratitude card, and then I also just pulled the discovery card from the pile here that we had already pulled. So like, this is a new discovery for you. Some of you may just be realizing what I'm saying as I'm saying it. Yeah, okay. So some of you know what you've had to put an end to with the Devil in reverse. That's really good to see the Devil in reverse, because the Devil represents toxic behaviors, people, materialism, like being out of balance with your money and your security. It can represent also in the reverse not feeling like you can master your trade. So for those of you that this has to do with work and your career, it's possible that a lot of this juggling has caused you to not be able to focus on bettering yourself and your stability. Because the devil is represented by Capricorn. Capricorn rules the 10th house. The 10th house is public recognition. It's also your path. It's not your path. It's what you're good at, what the world sees you for. Some people confuse it with the midheaven placement, which they are sometimes the same sign, but it's not the exact same thing. So keep that in mind. But it does represent mastery, okay? And we have a lot of earth energy here. So I'm going to say today, right now, it seems that we have more of an earthy audience. So welcome, my fellow earthlings. I have Taurus in my moon and north node. So that's my earthy nature. And of course, other places in my chart. Wow, 10 of Cups, represented by red clover. That's a lot of luck because clover. And it's also a lot of abundance, a lot of abundant love. And the 10 of Cups does represent the everything wish fulfillment with somebody else. It's like, and then we go back over here to the 2 of Cups in reverse, this union in reverse. So whatever you've had to let go of, and it could have been a soulmate. And remember, we also have karmic soulmates. There's different kinds of soulmates. Some of you know that. And a karmic soulmate is somebody you had to learn a lesson with, or they had to learn a lesson through you, or both. It's usually both. So like, just because it's a soulmate in reverse and you had to let go, remember, we have other soulmates. We even have family soulmates. Okay? And 10 of Cups does represent kind of like the family card, like your happily ever after. It could also represent with your community. It also, the clover plant gets rid of toxins, especially in your liver, by the way. Just remember to consult with your doctor or your own herbalist, or get a consult with me if you'd like. I offer that as well. And work with somebody who knows what they're doing. Some people drink red clover also for feminine issues. It can help during cycles. And I split it open to the Ace of Swords and the 5 of Wands in reverse. So this is the truth, and you're not fighting it anymore, whatever your truth is. I'm going to leave that's the second time this Ace of Swords has come out. So there's a lot of emphasis on truth here. And 5 of Wands in reverse is putting an end to competitive actions. Also, this is going to make you really successful by not trying to fight with others or compete with others. It also means that maybe you're done fighting something that not fighting. Does that make sense? So like, I think the last reading or the one before, I said, okay, maybe you're ready to put your hat in the ring, so to speak. Maybe you are ready to compete, but in a more positive way. Because the next card is the 6 of Wands. That's the success card. That's the public recognition card. That's victory. That's feeling seen for something you've accomplished. So it does seem like you're very much motivated to have this security within yourself, so outside of yourself. And it seems like you're motivated to do it for yourself first with the Ace of Cups. And you are healing some old wounds, it seems, with the plankton reference. You've got an idea of what is your happily ever after. And I think you're finalizing these choices here. Wow, and now as I open the deck, I've been sitting here with the Curandera of Water, which is the King of Cups. That was one of the divine counterparts we had in a couple of readings back, with the 9 of Swords in reverse. So this is an end to sabotage. It's an end to feeling like people are trying to cause you harm. It's an end of sleepless nights, because you're going to be able to give your cup of love to something, not just your cup, but you're on your way, or you are becoming the king of all love. The King of Cups. And also a few readings back, I mentioned spiritual baths, and I described this particular card from this deck because it is a spiritual bath with a coastal setting. It's about, that could be important if you didn't hear that or you need to hear it again. I definitely consider a spiritual bath if you believe in that kind of thing to help cleanse and purify. It might help you release the rest of this energy from the Nine of Swords in reverse. And yeah, and then it's on the Temperance card in reverse over here. So coming back into balance, finding your balance through purification. And if you're watching this in real time, and again, whether it's real time, timeless, whatever timeline you're listening to this message, whatever energy is being filmed, which is why I mentioned the moon sign, which was Sagittarius, right? That energy is influencing the reading because it's how we collectively feel whatever the moon sign is, right? Okay, so Temperance happens to be a card of Sagittarius. Queen of the Queen of Pentacles is here next. We described that card previously. It's the abundant bowl of overflowing yellow flowers and caverns and lush abundance. So it's like either you are transmuting this kind of energy, this lack of security, this attachment to materialism that, heck, maybe you were the one that was kind of angry and lashing out at people. And don't get mad at me. I'm a very direct reader. If you don't like that, you don't have to keep listening. Just know that that's my style. Again, I've got a Taurus moon, so I'm very blunt and straightforward about my emotional processing with my community. It is in my 11th house of community, so I do speak through my subjective astrological birth chart to help other people understand their subjective astrological birth charts. And over here we had the Seven of Cups in reverse, so it's like you're either transmuting into this positive representation of the Queen of Pentacles by putting an end to delusions, putting an end to confusion, to having too many options, to not knowing what cup to pour into. So like getting more focused, it seems. And again, purification through cleansing can help you a lot. For those of you that are practitioners, you may want to consider veiling or wearing something over your head, over your third eye, to protect yourself, especially if this Queen of Wands in reverse does represent works being done against you. Especially when you sleep, protect your crown. And if you don't want to do that, focus on chakra balancing meditations to keep yourself aligned, and cover yourself with white light as much as possible. That's for some, not for everybody. If you're not a practitioner and you do suspect something like that has been done, then by all means, there's no harm in trying it, right? It has nothing to do with the devil, okay? So for those of you that are scared, don't do it if it scares you. It's not for you. It's not for everybody, okay? That's just for a select few. Yeah, and I pull the Wheel of Fortune. So this is also karmic cycles, right? This is a new cycle that you're on. It doesn't necessarily have to be a karmic cycle, but it could be an end of these karmic relations over here. Because again, all this pentacle energy can represent material energy, right? And the Wheel of Fortune, by the way, is also a card of Sagittarius, like Temperance over here. And it is about expansion and growth and blessings and good fortune, or receiving whatever your fortune may be, because again, karma is neither good or bad. It's kind of like the law of attraction, where you get what you receive. What you put out there is represented in your reality from your thoughts. Sometimes I go quantum, but I'm holding back for now so y'all can get used to me a little more first. So you're in a new cycle. If you disassociated from these people, good for you, because you don't need that in your life anymore. You don't need people who don't make you feel secure. Oftentimes people can try to get you to not look at your blessings because they're jealous. And some people are just bored and again, toxic, unhealed people, and they like to mess with people. They like to mess with their security. So, it's possible that these people cause a lot of harm. But it seems like you're recovering from it, or you've recovered. It's a thing of the past. So I don't want to dwell on karmic energies. In fact, I'm going to chime my bell to clear that real quick. Whoa, now the cards want to talk. All right, and we have Ace of Pentacles in reverse again, and the Lovers. So this is a choice on what's going to bring you great stability going forward in this new cycle. Because even though we have the Ace of Pentacles in reverse now, I think it's about choosing. It's about knowing, because the Lovers represents a choice, right? It's not just about a divine union or a soulmate or whatever. Whatever is making you feel like you can't have a secure new beginning in this new cycle. It's about your choices. Yeah, death. Death card. That represents change, transformation. It's also possible that this is the end of anyone being able to choose anyone other than yourself. Making yourself the choice. And that'll bring security to you. And the universe will work with you during this change. And sometimes we're still kind of in the energy of the old while we begin the new beginnings, right? Because, again, timelines, they all merge at the same time. So as you're closing up some cycles, you might be starting new cycles, and that's typically how it goes, right? High of Fire in reverse. So this is the page, or the Princess of Wands from earlier, in reverse now. So for some of you, you've decided to stop pursuing some quest that we were talking about earlier. And it could have something to do with your spiritual beliefs, or certain travel plans you had. It's possible that was interrupted or transpired because of an awakening, a spiritual awakening, which you have come out of, or you're on the other side of, because it's in reverse, with awakenings in reverse. That's represented by the Tulsi plant, which is holy basil. And for those of you that don't know, holy basil actually is a really uplifting herb. So if you are somebody who struggles with deep sadness, which is possible with the 4 cups over here, maybe consider sipping on some holy basil tea once a day. Again, I would consult with somebody. Don't just take whatever somebody says on a tarot reading. Justice in reverse. And 8 of Pentacles. I think whatever you've become awakened to, or that you've learned on this spiritual journey, and possibly having to do with whatever you just decided to stop questing on, and shift your focus more onto your choices in this new cycle, it's because you didn't feel like something was fair or honest or balanced, because justice is represented by Libra. 8 of Pentacles is all about, we were talking about that earlier, remember, about how 7 of Pentacles, what we're investing in, eventually it turns into the 8 of Pentacles. So it seems like whatever you've realized, whatever wasn't giving you justice, whatever you've awakened to here, you can now go the next step and start working on this new path, this new cycle. So keep paying attention to your choices, and know that it's safe to make choices, you know. And this may sound like a broken record, but if you don't try, you never know. And if you don't try, you're going to 100% fail. But if you do try, you have a 50% chance of it working out for you. And again, when we talk about our thoughts creating our reality, it's about transmuting that energy from I can't, it won't, it's never going to happen, to what if it does? What if I can? What does that look like? Especially those of you working on goals and careers and establishing financial security in your life. You know, pay attention to your choices. Also, how you're treating yourself and others. Are you being fair in the way you make decisions with others? Because some of you have people you take care of, you know, dependents or spouses or partners or even animals, you know. Shout out to all my cat mommies and daddies and others out there. Hello, hummingbird. Let me see. Let me ask Spirit. Or maybe you're working on giving somebody their justice as well. Maybe there's a choice to be had here. That message just came in. It's something that you realized in your awakening. Wow, 7 of Wands. I'm going to read that as somebody wants to fight for something. Somebody is willing to defend something. I don't feel like this is negative, especially with this depiction. It's like a what is that? Curanderismo. So it's like it's kind of like a family spell book or Book of Shadows or maybe a master herbalist notes book. And there's like a skull with a rosary or beads attached to it, red and blue beads, white. There's artwork on it. It has like a Mayan energy to it. So some of you may have Latin heritage. There's a lime that's cut and open. Limes are grounding, by the way. And cinnamon, which is great for mental clarity. Grounding and mental clarity. And there's a cozy little fire in this kitchen. It looks like it's in this little cozy kitchen. Yeah, it looks like there's a Mayan wheel. And then there's a mortal and pestle with the cinnamon. So it's like more mental clarity is coming to you. Your ancestors are with you with the skull. Call upon them. Again, your guides are always with you to help you in this. 3 of Pentacles in reverse. So it's about choosing who you collaborate with in the future, people who you can't work with. Maybe that's been a block because, again, 7 of Wands can represent a block. Blocking somebody, blocking something, being defensive, feeling like you're backed into a corner. That's more of the negative representation. So for some of you, you do feel a little defensive or you're opposed to working with others. But if you are part of the group that's trying to sustain your own sense of wealth and security or advancement in your work, learning to work with others, and it possibly has to do with your choices and what you think is fair, is very important to pay attention to. Yeah, what gives you peace with the 6 of Air in reverse? How do you transition into calmer waters? This can also be a reluctance to work with people, energies that are trying to guide you, because it's like the river fairy Styx, where there is a robed hidden figure that is guiding a person in a boat. So this could be a spiritual transition that you're going through. It's also possible that for some of you, and again, if this hasn't happened, don't assume it, okay? Don't claim what isn't for you, okay? But for some of you, somebody has transitioned recently, and you know about it, and this has made it hard for you to work with others or this person that recently transitioned, and I mean as in they passed on, right? Because again, River Fairy Styx, it can represent someone entering the afterlife. It's possible somebody you used to work with has transitioned, and you know, for those of you that have had great bonds with who you're working with, whatever kind of work you do, you know, when you lose a mentor or you lose a great companion or a partner, this can affect, it's like maybe you put them on a pedestal and it's hard to really see yourself being able to invest in those kinds of relationships again. Wow, yeah, and then I just pulled the Queen of Wands upright, the Madre of Fire. So if you were represented by some of you that were represented by the Queen of Wands in reverse, maybe having kind of anger over your security or projecting onto others with anger, you have just transmuted that energy. Good job.